Hi there, and welcome to this episode of the How to Choose Happiness Show. I'm your host, Lauren Foster, and as always, I'm playing around with technology, and so I set up this setting that would cause the camera to come on whenever the preview was done. So that kind of caught me by surprise. And then I also discovered today this little thing. It's a sound effect. So I'm Lauren Foster. So I have some canned applause. How much fun is that? All right, so I'm so happy that you're here. I hope that you're really getting a lot from this bi-weekly effort to teach you how to claim your power to create your life just the way you want it to. We want you to begin rewiring your brain to believe that you deserve all the love and money and success and happiness and joy and most of all freedom in the world. It is your birthright, and you're creating your life. You're a powerful creator, and you get to create it on purpose if you choose. That's the big thing. If you choose, you can choose to continue to respond and react and just be whatever you need to be in the moment and never really getting to discover and bring forth who you really are. So don't choose that. This month we're talking about relationships. So I want you to think about your primary relationship, and this might not be your husband or your boyfriend or whatever. A lot of us are single, but so whatever your primary most important relationship is at this time, at one point in my life, my assistant was my most important relationship. So whoever it is that you are interacting with the most, that is the most important relationship to you. How would you rate that relationship on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being, oh, we suck at this, and 10 being we're perfectly in sync and getting things done together and adoring one another, or whatever awesome looks like to you. So 1 is bad, 10 is awesome. In the comments, just jot down that number and let us know, what you're feeling, how you're feeling about your relationship. Tammy Todd is here. Tammy Todd is my current most important relationship. She's my partner that we're co-creating these businesses together, and she's on the West Coast and I'm over in Tennessee, so we don't ever even actually get to be in each other's presence, but she is still my most important relationship, and we're 10. So thank you, Tammy. I treasure you. Treasure you. We'll put you on the broadcast. All right, so what is the state of your primary relationship, and what can you do about that? That Thursdays is the day when we really get down to the nitty-gritty about actual actionable things that you can do to start changing the way you look at things and the way you show up, and changing the way your life manifests. So in this month on relationships, we want you to get along better. We want you to be happier. We want you to be more like yourself as many times as many moments as you possibly can. So you can't fix what you don't know is broken. So be honest when you look at all of the things that we're talking about. If you have a relationship that you don't feel comfortable in being honest, you don't feel comfortable in being yourself, if there's fear of loss, fear of violence at the far extreme, fear of losing that person, be honest about that and ask yourself how much of the time you're staying in a bad feeling place because you feel like you don't have any other choice, because that's never the truth. There's always a way to solve any problem, to improve any situation that can possibly arrive. If you can dream it up, the universe can deliver it to you. So many people can't even answer the simple question of what good feelings did you experience today? The last thing before you go to bed at night, think back on all the times that you felt great, and remember, and you add power to those moments by reliving them in your brain, because your brain doesn't know the difference between you thinking about something and that something actually happening. There's science about this, that athletes that run a race in their mind have the same physiological responses that they do when they're actually running the race. So think back over all the things that you felt good about during your day and journal about those, and get to really amplify and magnify and trade in on all of those good feeling moments. Now, most of us can bring to mind very easily the things that displeased us, the things that went wrong, the tragedies, the heartaches, the traffic jams, the drivers with road rage, the stubbing your toe, all my bad thing that happened this week is I have a little automatic robot thing that runs around at 5 in the morning. Well, one of my animals had an accident in the night, and you've seen the commercial, it really happened. So my little robot dragged poop all through the house, and so the first thing that I did in the morning was clean up poop. But that's one thing. But I can tell you all the good feeling things throughout my day because I've taught myself to think about this and to remember this. So what did you eat this month? You would be amazed at how many people are like, what? I don't know. Oh, I'm too busy chasing after a toddler. I'm too busy taking care of my elderly parent. I'm too busy with all of these other things to pay attention to what's going on with me. And guess what, my friend? That is the road to ruin. That is the road to running out of resources and not being able to be there when your toddler's older, or when, be the things that you want to be to the people that you want to be them, because you are not limitless and you cannot serve from an empty vessel. So this is our theme in this week, is teaching you to be selfish. Now, this doesn't mean that if it comes down to me or my child getting hit by a car, I'm going to sacrifice myself. You know what? Probably so. But most of life is not that life or death. Most of life, with a little bit of planning, will allow you to take excellent care of your children, your parents, to be all of the things that you want to be in life, and still and before take amazing care of yourself. So that's why this week is all about starting with you. That's the key phrase. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. So how do you want to show up in your relationships? So many times we are comparing ourselves with other people, or we are thinking that we can figure out what somebody else wants, and then we try to twist ourselves into being what we think they want. For one thing, you don't know that. There's no way for you to know what that other person wants in a million years. So this never ever works out. Your strong relationships, you're able to ask, how can I help you? What do you need from me? How can we be here for one another? You're not just going to assume that this person wants this and then show up and be that, and then show up and be something different for someone else. Guess what? Everybody is going to want something different from you, and they're going to change their minds. So not only are you not going to please anybody, you're not going to please yourself, and you're going to lose who you are. So being who you want to be and deciding what your half of the relationship looks like and showing up as that, this is your role. This is your responsibility. And so since I had this very recent wedding experience, there on the afternoon of the wedding, our plan was to go back to the bride's place together and get ready together. Well, when that time came along, there was still a lot that needed to be done at the venue. Now, I could have assumed, all brides want their best friend to be with them, helping them with their makeup and helping them with their hair. And had I assumed that, I would not have done what my friend wanted, because that's not what she wanted. So I asked. I said, do you want me to stay here and help with the venue, or do you want me to go with you? And she said, I want you to stay here. It's so simple. So I didn't assume, and I planned ahead so that I could have all of my needs met and still be available for whatever it was that she needed on this important day. And you can always do this. You can always take care of yourself and be a great best friend, and be a great wife, and be a great mother, daughter, sister, caretaker, volunteer, leader, whatever it is that you want to be. Never compare your life to someone else's. Never, we look at people who have succeeded at something that we're attempting to do, and we see their success, and we see all of the great things that are happening for them, but we don't see the years and the heartache and the struggle and the learning and growing that it took to get to that point. So you do you. That's my favorite quote from one of my teachers, Amy Porterfield. She's like, yes, there are other life coaches. Yes, there are other spiritual teachers. Yes, there are other people that are doing the exact same thing that I do, but nobody is doing it exactly like I am in this exact moment. And the person that needs to hear this message will hear it best from me. So here's an example of when that did not happen. I have I'm not going to tell you exactly who it was because I didn't get her permission, but I have a very dear friend who has, in my opinion, had struggled with poor health. I thought that she should feel better and, have a higher quality of health for her age. And I always wanted to teach her to have a primal diet, to get rid of the grains and inflammatory things and processed foods and all the things that are within a primal lifestyle. And she didn't hear me, and she didn't hear me, and she didn't hear me. And eventually she developed an autoimmune disease that caused her a great deal of pain and agony. And this was the point where she was able to hear, but she heard it from someone else. She stumbled across one of my favorite cooks, Danielle Walker, Against All Grains. I didn't put that in the show notes, Tammy. We'll have to go back and look that up. But she is my favorite recipe maker for grain-free breads and desserts and anything that you can think of that is aligned with a paleo or primal lifestyle. She found her some other way. And I had this moment of ego that, why I've been telling you this. Why didn't you hear me? She just didn't. The message did not come along from me at the right time in the right words for her to get it. And so I completely dismissed that, and now I'm just grateful that she's figured it out, and I know that she's going to have amazing results for her health because of this decision that she's made. And it's absolutely okay that someone else led her there. I will lead someone else there. You see where we went with that? All right, so never compare, never assume, never turn yourself into a pretzel trying to be what you think someone else wants you to be. It never ever works. So here are some tips and tools for how you can make yourself feel better about yourself, have more self-love, have higher self-esteem beginning in this very moment. So check in with your body. How is your body language? Are you sitting slumped over and timid and afraid and protective? Or are you standing with your shoulders back and confident and open and welcoming to all of the blessings in the world? Remember, we talked about already how your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imaginary. And so if you go ahead and hold your body like the person that you want to be, you show up physically the way that you want to be, then all of this is going to translate into a greater feeling of self-awareness and self-love and self-appreciation, which is where it all starts. You cannot be lovable to someone else if you are not lovable to yourself first. All right, so we have a free meditation that will help you to connect with your body, and Tammy's going to share the link with us for that. And so this is one way that you can get used to the feedback that you're getting from your body. Now, here's a teaching moment. Did you just think, I don't have time to meditate? I don't have time is one of the most disempowering statements that there is, because you do. You have time for whatever is important to you. Now, if you choose not to meditate, that's okay. That's not the point. The point is to not say, I don't have time. You say, I have not put that as a priority. I won't do that. I choose not to do that, because you have the same amount of time as the biggest billionaire in the world, as the Wright brothers, as Steve Jobs, Thomas Edison. We all get the same amount of time currency, and we all get the choice as to how we spend it. So you can choose to do what you want to do, but don't disempower yourself by saying you don't have time to. Along the same lines, don't disempower yourself by saying I don't have the money to. So I listened to the book Everything is Figureoutable on my trip from Marie Forleo. Again, another link, Tammy, that I forgot to go and get. But she talks about adding the word yet to the end of those statements. So I don't know how to do that yet. I don't have the money to invest in that training yet. I don't have the money to hire a life coach yet. And that sets your brain up for Okay, this means that I will in the future. This means that there are steps that I can take and ways that I can be that will lead me in that direction so that I will have the money to spend on this that I want, that I will have the time to invest in myself. And my final favorite saying about meditation is that saying you don't have time to meditate is like saying, I don't have time to find my keys, I'll just walk to work. Meditation will make you more efficient and more productive and more effective in everything that you do if you learn to be a conscientious meditator. All right, so we're going to share with you the meditation link. Now, this one might sound a little weird too, but smile. Smiling, whether it's fake or real, of course, if you can find an opportunity to smile at someone, if you can find something to smile about, or something to laugh about, even better, that's awesome. But in the absence of that, just smile. Just put your face in that position and your brain thinks, oh, we're happy. So it releases dopamine and serotonin and endorphins and gives you this rush of happiness. So therefore, smiling causes happiness, which causes smiling, which causes happiness. It's a beautiful, amazing loop that you can get into. And this is the absolute truth. If you're talking on the telephone, the person that you're talking to can tell if you're smiling and will be so much more receptive to helping you, to giving you what it is that you're asking for if they feel that smile that's in your voice. So smile. It's absolute science that this will make you feel better and make you feel better about yourself. Now let's take this one step further and smile at yourself in the mirror and say your first name, I love you. Now, we're going to link you to Louise Hay. The late Louise Hay was an amazing, amazing teacher who, side note, did not start her publishing business until she was 60 years old and grew it into the largest personal development publishing company in the world. So it is not too late. It's not too early. This is the exact right time for you to start living the life that you want. Decide right now and start right now. So look in the mirror, do some mirror work, and she also makes the so sweet statement that this feels so weird and so awkward and so icky at first that it feels like work. But as you get used to this, as you get used to really being in love with the person you see in the mirror, then it becomes mirror play. And this new opinion that you have about yourself, this new self-love, self-appreciation will radiate out into everything that you do and will equip you for the lessons coming for the rest of the month. And we're going to talk about your intimate relationships and then your larger circle and then eventually out into the world and how your relationships look. All right, so are you powerful? Do you choose happiness? Do you live your life in an inside-out manner? Or are you always looking to outside circumstances? Keep asking yourself these questions. Keep being curious about the answers and get your mind in the land of the solution, a Thomas Edison phrase. And you know, what will it feel like when my relationships are amazing? What will it look like when I truly show up in my life full of confidence and full of self-esteem and full of courage? Confidence comes from learning something well. So we are always wanting to learn and grow, and this means that we're stepping outside of our comfort zone into the place where we don't know so much. And it's not as easy to be confident. In fact, it's impossible to be confident when you're trying something that you don't know. I do so many things every day that I don't have any idea what I'm doing, and I just hold on to the idea that if I keep at it, if I keep practicing, if I keep studying, if I keep learning, I eventually will be good at it, and my confidence will increase as my knowledge does. And in the meantime, my courage and my willingness to go through the fear, to go through the discomfort, to go through the sweaty palms, to get to where all the good stuff is on the other side of that fear is what keeps me going and keeps me showing up here every week. All right, so Tammy's got all of these. Oh, Allison Rosebert, I love you so very, very much. My darling niece Christine is here. Thank you for being here. All right. See, I have such a so many people that just want to say nice things to me, but nobody has any questions yet. So I love the day. I'm looking forward to the day when people are going, well, what about this? What about this? And what about this? And we're really able to delve into the specific things that are on your mind. But that will maybe be another day. So I'm going to be back here on Tuesday. I'm not positive of the date, but it's still in March. It's the second week of March. And next week we're going to talk about your intimate relationships. So get to work on yourself. In the meantime, download the Empowerment Through Journaling thing and workbook and use it to help you change the way you look at yourself, to change the way that you look at life. When you download that, we're also going to send you the Why Not Me, Why Not Now workbook, which is a beautiful workbook that will help you get started figuring out what it is that you really want, will help you make a snapshot of where you are and where you want to be and why you want to be there, and help you start figuring out what the next steps are that will take you in that direction. And I promise, if you take that first step, the next step will be revealed to you when you get there. All right, so I'm going to see you on Tuesday. Remember, in the meantime, that happiness is a choice. You can always choose to be happy first. All my love. See you next week.